All right, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're going to explore how to stop just, casually chatting with your AI and start building a system that actually goes to work for you. Because, let's be honest, if you've been using AI recently, you're probably feeling this weird mix of total amazement and, well, frustration. It's kind of like hiring a genius intern who just instantly forgets everything you tell them the second they walk out the door. The tech is incredibly smart, but somehow you're still the one doing all the heavy lifting. Well, today, we're going to completely change that narrative. I want you to think about your current setup for a second. Are you stuck constantly hand-feeding prompts to your AI, or do you have a system that actually executes autonomously? Look at the left side here, manual triggering. This is that tedious prompting, the endless copy-pasting, working with isolated data that just gets wiped from memory the moment you close the browser tab. Now, contrast that with the right side, autonomous execution. This is where AI operates completely independently within an integrated infrastructure. It knows your goals, it's plugged into your tools, and it just does the work without you having to beg it every single time. And this perfectly illustrates the core problem. Over on the left, you've got this lonely stick figure manually triggering isolated tasks inside a closed box. Every single time you want an output, you have to spoon-feed it an input. It's an exhausting one-to-one ratio of effort to reward. But compare that to the dynamic, integrated gears of a true operating system over on the right. Notice how the gears interlock and how the arrows flow in these continuous, smooth loops. In a system like this, one single trigger can set off a massive cascade of interconnected tasks. The AI is no longer just a conversational partner. It's a literal mechanical engine driving your digital workflows forward. So to actually escape that isolated box, we're going to use what's called the 4Cs framework as our architectural blueprint. We'll walk through step 1, context, step 2, connections, step 3, capabilities, and finally step 4, cadence. These 4 steps are the exact sequence you need to transform a basic chatbot into a fully autonomous digital workforce. Now, as you can see, this isn't just a random list, it's an ascending staircase. Each step fundamentally builds upon the last to elevate your system from a simple static identity to full-blown independent operation. You can't just skip straight to the top step. Without the foundational layers, those higher levels of automation, they'll just collapse under their own weight, or worse, execute the completely wrong tasks. We have to build this the right way, layer by layer, starting right at the ground floor. So step 1 is context. This is your foundational layer of static identity. It establishes exactly who you are for the system. Think of context as the concrete foundation holding up your entire structure. We're talking about things like meeting transcripts, your past achievements, your personal preferences, and a really comprehensive business profile. Now, this is static background information. It doesn't really change minute to minute, but it provides the absolutely critical identity the system needs to actually understand its user. It's the grounding reality. It ensures that every subsequent action the AI takes is perfectly aligned with your unique situation. Moving up, step 2 is connections. This is where we integrate dynamic, real-time state, pushing way beyond just that static background data. Here, data flows literally like pipes from active tools straight into the foundation. Check out those hexagonal nodes at the top. Those represent platforms like your project management tools, say ClickUp, your accounting software like QuickBooks, and your email services. The information just flows down these pipes, bringing the absolute latest project statuses, financial updates, and real-time communications directly into your system. By wiring your AI into these dynamic tools, you ensure it is constantly 24/7 updated with changing information, which is what makes its knowledge genuinely actionable. Okay, look closely at this right here, because this is a massive inflection point. This is where we cross over from the passive storage of phase 1 straight into the active infrastructure of phase 2. Notice the transition from the static blue cubes on the left, which is all your stored contextual knowledge, through that huge directional arrow, right into the interlocking active gears on the right. This visual captures the exact moment your system stops being just a glorified digital filing cabinet and actually becomes an active engine of execution. So the crucial takeaway here is that once your knowledge foundation is completely locked in, the fundamental nature of what you're doing changes entirely. To quote our source directly here, data is no longer just retrieved, it is acted upon. You're no longer just asking the AI to summarize a PDF for you, you're empowering it to read the document, make a strategic decision based on its context, and independently execute the next logical step in your business process. And notice how your own role shifts dramatically when this happens. In phase 1, building a second brain, the core output is just information. The data is either static or dynamic, and your ultimate goal is just to establish comprehension. But jump over to phase 2, the AI operating system. Suddenly, the core output becomes action.
The data is now processed and applied. And most importantly, you evolve. You go from being a mere curator of information into an architect or overseer of a system designed for pure autonomy. Essentially, you stop doing the work and you start managing the system that does the work for you.
Welcome to Phase 2, the AI operating system. This active execution core functions kind of like a massive V8 engine. Packed with an autonomous task processor and integrated workflow engines, it generates dynamic action output. Make no mistake, this isn't just software anymore. Conceptually, this is heavy machinery for your digital life. It's built to run continuously and efficiently, burning the rich fuel of your contextual data.
Which brings us to step 3, capabilities. These are the specific, specialized agents and skill pipelines that actually take action on your contextual data.
Think of it like a highly automated factory floor. These skill pipelines and specialized agents take all that knowledge from your foundation and execute very specific high-leverage tasks. Notice those distinct operational boxes all connected by a central gear hub? Over on the right, you've got robotic arms assembling outputs. Those represent your automations. These are not generic AI chat prompts. They're purpose-built functions. Whether it's drafting a complex client proposal, analyzing raw financial data, or triaging a chaotic inbox of customer support emails, these specific capabilities are what transform potential energy into actual, measurable work. And finally, we make it to the top of the staircase, cadence. This is all about achieving true autonomy. You're configuring the system to run totally independently on its own schedule. The ultimate goal here is self-sufficiency. Your system runs on its own configured schedule without you clicking a single button. Check out the 24-hour dial integrated right there into the gears. This represents the final stage, graduating from a tool you manually trigger and constantly have to babysit to true independent automation. While that dial turns through hours 1, 2, and 3 in the morning, the system is actively working while you are fast asleep, or maybe just deep in focus on something else. It triggers the capabilities, processes the dynamic connections, and spits out results precisely when they're needed, 100% on its own. Let's zoom out for a second. When we pull back, you can see the entire master blueprint firing on all cylinders. This right here is the ultimate culmination of the 4 C's framework. You've got the knowledge foundation matrix holding the context down at the bottom. You have the integration capacity piping in those real-time connections. Then the workflow orchestration hub manages your specific capabilities. And finally, the autonomous execution engine drives the cadence up top. It is a beautifully integrated, self-contained architecture that progresses light years beyond isolated chat interactions. But you know what the real magic is? This isn't a straight line. It's an AIOS flywheel. As that autonomous cadence triggers your capabilities, it generates brand new data and outcomes. And guess what? That new data feeds right back into your context and connections. It updates your real-time state, which in turn enhances your future capabilities. It creates this brilliant, self-improving, self-sufficient operational loop. Basically, the more it runs, the smarter your foundation gets, and the more incredibly effective its future actions become. It continually refines its own intelligence and execution. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want you to take a hard look at your own workflow right now and ask yourself, are you still babysitting a chat interface, or are you ready to build an engine? Because the tech is absolutely here to move from manual triggering to autonomous execution. By implementing context, connections, capabilities, and cadence, you can finally stop serving your digital tools and actually have them serve you. So tell me, what's the very first connection you're going to build for your new operating system?